Hey, welcome in. You're listening to the daily version of the Korelin Economics Report. Time out, Korelin. Appreciate you joining me. End of the week. It is Friday, the 27th of May. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Those of you listening to this who are in the good old U.S. of A. Have a great 3 days. Got Memorial Day coming up. Those of you in Canada, hey, you got yours last week, so you should be happy also. I am chatting right now with Brien Lundin. Got some interesting things going on in the economy right now. Bloomberg came out this morning, and the headline of their article was "Global Economic Rebound Weakens on Quake." Oil price, European debt crisis. They point to the fact that Goldman Sachs has lowered their projection of global economic growth to 4.3% from 4.8%. They brought out the fact that UBS AG cut their projection to 3.6% from 3.9%. These are all obviously bearish statements on a macroeconomic basis. But when you look at what's going on in the precious metals sector, they're obviously very, very bullish. As Brian and I are recording this, gold is up over $20 an ounce, and silver is up over 50 cents an ounce. That leads me to believe that both in the short term and the long term, we have some very, very bullish indicators for gold, albeit bearish for the economy, both on a national level here in the U.S. and on an international level. Brien Lundin, what do you say?
Well, yeah, Al, what I say is whenever I get cautious and a bit concerned about the gold price, gold just pops right back up and proves me wrong, and that's been the case, I think, for anyone who's bet against the metal, short term, intermediate term, long term, over the last 11 years of this bull market.
Yeah,
you can't sell it short. We had that big turn down in early May, but they're not giving up without a fight, and the metals are really fighting this seasonality trend that we've seen over the past years. Yeah. Where we've gone into kind of a summer slump, and they're just not going down without a fight.
They're certainly not going down without a fight, and I would maintain that we are still in the perfect storm for precious metals. And whether you buy gold and or silver as an investment, whether you buy gold and or silver simply as insurance, I think the time continues to be right for that. And one would say, well, gee, with the prices that we have right now, maybe it's a little rich. Maybe you should wait until it backs off. And I would say, no, it's not time to do that. And because I'm a real believer in dollar cost averaging, and I think what you have to do in the case of the metals is buy them on a regular basis, and that way you're certainly mitigating your risk. What do you think about that?
Well, I agree. And you have to kind of divvy up your holdings into whether you have trading holdings or core holdings. And I think for core holdings, yes, you do continue to buy on a dollar cost averaging basis. A lot of people, though, have started off that way early on, but now they've gotten such rich gains over time and also this year that they've developed a trading portion of their portfolio. And for that portion, I have actually been recommending that people kind of pull in their horns as we approach the summer, because there have been such rich gains made in the Western markets, particularly by the speculators, that there's even a greater tendency for people to take those profits as we get into May, as we got into May, and as we go into the summer, and wait for better bargains in the bottom of the summer. But
yeah.
But what's happened now, I think, and what we're seeing now, is that seasonality trend may not be as pronounced as we have seen in previous years, because so much of the demand now is being driven by China. That isn't the typical kind of wedding season, festival season demand that you see out of India. That's being primarily driven, I believe, by inflation in China and by the economic growth and the rise of the middle class.
Sure. Well, the Chinese are the government is very, very optimistic about gold, as indicated by their enthusiasm in terms of supporting the citizens over there. In purchasing gold and silver, that was legalized a number of years ago. Now they are encouraging people to use that as a form of, to use precious metals as a form of savings. I mean, yeah, it's pretty hard to go against the trend that's being set by, population-wise anyway, the largest country in the world, and soon to be the strongest country in the world economically. Brien, thanks so much for your time.
You're welcome.